Star Wars has become a multi-generational pop culture phenomenon. You can find its merchandise littered across almost all major supercenters. The vast majority of the population has seen the movies, some even out of a sense of obligation. Almost every American boy has at one point owned a lightsaber, and if you haven't, you're the weird one. That's just how big Star Wars is. Inside the Star Wars universe, there is one special Jedi who has taken the hearts of the fans. His name is Obi Wan Kenobi, and he is the Chad of the Star Wars universe. Now, in Star Wars, there's almost undoubtedly no stronger character than Obi Wan. He is one of the few Jedi to have fought a Sith and lived. In fact, Sith encounters were a regular activity for this Jedi. Even as a Padawan, he managed to slice in half the fearsome Darth Maul. There's more that could be said here, but that's for another video. What is relevant about Obi-Wan's survival throughout Star Wars is his gift as a strategist. Kenobi's true strength was not necessarily in his arm, but in his mind. He demonstrates repeatedly throughout the course of the shows and movies his ability to engage critical thinking during combat. There is a sense in which Obi-Wan does not merely master lightsaber forms, but adopts and invents forms as he fights in order to ensure his victory over his opponent. Still, despite all that thinking, Obi-Wan gets a little mixed up throughout the movies, and becomes the very thing he swore to destroy. Obi-Wan wants to be a Sith. Here's the data. To begin, let us look at Elder Obi-Wan, or Ben Kenobi. In Episode 4, Ben has hung around and waited to recruit Luke to destroy the Sith with him. Surely this means he's a Jedi, right? Well, being an enemy of two reigning Sith does not mean that you are not a Sith. It only means that you do not recognize the other pair as having a rightful claim to Sith Lord status. We see this paradigm play out in the Clone Wars TV show. Darth Maul and his brother fight with Darth Sidious and Count Dooku, aiming to secure the position of being the Siths of the universe.
You have become a rival!
In addition to this, Obi-Wan waits until Luke is grown up before he engages him. This is not the strategy of recruitment the Jedi follow. They tend to take small children to train for their ranks. Rather, this is the typical recruitment season for the Sith. Darth Maul, Count Dooku, and Anakin were all past childhood by the time the Sith invited them in. Obi-Wan seems to shift his philosophy from the prequels to the original trilogy and ends up in agreement with the Sith modus operandi. Not only this, but Obi-Wan refuses to train more than one apprentice at a time. Now, it is true that Jedi typically only have a single apprentice on their hands. However, especially for Jedi Masters, it is evident that this rule was regularly broken. For example, Qui-Gon felt confident that he could make Anakin his apprentice, despite having Obi-Wan to train. Yoda is also seen training an entire classroom of younglings at once, indicating that it was not impossible, or even frowned upon if the situation required it, for Jedi Masters to take on multiple pupils. Obi-Wan, however, decides not to train Leia with Luke, despite both of them being Force-sensitive and the universe hanging in the balance. Instead, he opts to train Luke only, abiding by the Sith rule of 2. Next, as we will unveil throughout the course of this video, Anakin becoming a Sith was Obi-Wan's plan the whole time. However, he intended Anakin to be his Sith apprentice. This is evident in several formats. First, Obi-Wan's emotional abandonment. Throughout the prequels, we find that Anakin cries out for help several times. He suffers from the pains of the past as well as the pains from the loss of the few people who have ever loved him. However, he never turns to Obi-Wan. Instead, he has to find comfort from Padme and Palpatine. Was Obi-Wan's intention to encourage Anakin's rage and hurt? It seems so. In addition, Obi-Wan was aware, just as Palpatine was, that Anakin and Padme were in love. Rather than go the Jedi way and counsel his pupil to decide the route he wanted to go in life, both Palpatine and Obi-Wan took the same strategy here. They kept it quiet and used it to their advantage. Fourth, only a Sith deals in absolutes. In the climax of Episode 3, Obi-Wan turns to face Anakin, who is converted to the dark side, but with a different master. Kenobi, being a master strategist, has been able to conceal his true identity for longer than Palpatine ever could. Now he senses that Anakin may be an obstacle to his plan rather than an aid. Still, he offers him one last hint, hoping to change his mind. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must. Obi-Wan tells his former apprentice that only Sith deal in absolutes. This proposition is a statement of absolutes. That is, Obi-Wan has just made an absolute truth claim. Kenobi is gently ousting himself as a Sith one last time. Anakin fails to take the hint, and as a result, gets his arms and legs cut off. Talk about tough love. 5th, Obi-Wan had a forbidden lover, Satine. According to loveinterest.fandom.com, Satine Kryze was the love interest of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars The Clone Wars. End quote. This is not the Jedi way, but Obi-Wan didn't mind. 6th, Kenobi uses deceit to get his way. Now, I'm not going to lie, all the Jedi seem to like to manipulate people. They even have a Force maneuver called the Jedi Mind Trick. In Episode 1, Qui-Gon goes so far as to attempt to use it on merchants to swindle them out of their store supplies. But the way Obi-Wan lies is very different than the other Jedi, and much more akin to someone else. Darth Sidious, or Emperor Palpatine, lies about relationships, attempting to appear as someone's helper in order to get what he wants. We see this with how he counsels Anakin concerning Padme, Anakin concerning Dooku, and Anakin concerning Anakin. Obi-Wan, in a similar fashion, lies to Luke. He tells the young farm boy that Darth Vader murdered his father. Why? Because he intends to manipulate young Skywalker into serving him. 7th, and I admit that this is not conclusive data, but it is a little strange. Everyone that Obi-Wan has trained has, at some point, made an attempt on Jedi learners' lives. Just saying. In conclusion, Obi-Wan, whether intentionally or otherwise, fell into many of the Sith's ways. He's not the only one. Mace Windu acted as a Sith in attempting to take Palpatine's life when he was unarmed. It appears that the Republic fell internally before it collapsed in public. In fact, a lot of responsibility falls on this guy's shoulders. Don't believe me? Subscribe and keep watching to see.